I'm live, it says. I guess that's better than the alternative. How do you do, buckaroos? How the heck are you? I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, at least for the purposes of this video. A little Hitchcock moment. I'm not sure what's going on with my lighting. But nevertheless, little Hitchcock moment there anyway. I digress. So I've got count them, two holiday cocktails. Let me get something fixed real fast. There we go. Now we're in business. We got two holiday cocktails. I'm going to start with one I call a cherry cordial. And this one's very simple because the whiskey's doing all the work for me. The whiskey's doing all the heavy lifting. It's a St. Elmo steakhouse out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Bartender crafted cherry vanilla infused bourbon at 88 proof. Straight bourbon whiskey with dark cherry vanilla liqueur colored with fruit and vegetable juice. Produced and bottled by St. Elmo Steakhouse, Indianapolis, Indiana. There you go. It's very nice flavored whiskey. And like I said, I'm trying to get the flavors of cherry, vanilla, and chocolate, but the whiskey is doing most of the heavy lifting. Now, I could make this complicated if I went out and bought some cream de cocoa or some chocolate liqueur, but I don't think you need it because I don't want a heavy chocolate presence. So in this case, I'm just using the Angostura cocoa bitters, a few dashes, and then I complemented it with a couple dashes of cherry bitters. Like I said, you can make this more complicated if you want to, but you don't need to. That's what I kind of feel like a lot of bartenders are doing these days. They're making things a lot more complicated than they need to be. All you got to do is get to the flavors you want. You don't need 100 ingredients to get there. That's nice. That gives me that nice dark chocolate presence. Like I said, you can add a chocolate liqueur, cream de cocoa, something if you want. If you want a bigger chocolate presence, but you don't need it. And like I said, the whiskey's doing most of the heavy lifting. It's giving me those cherry and vanilla notes, but I wanted that little bit of extra cherry, which is why I used the cherry bitters. And a cordial, you want to keep a cordial simple. Using my cordial glass here. This gives you all the flavors you want. And like I said, if you want, you can make it more complicated. If you want more chocolate, add more chocolate. If you want more vanilla, add more vanilla. I contemplated for about a half a second adding some Stoli vanilla, but I didn't really feel that I needed it once I had this put together. Like I said, you can make things more complicated if you want to, but you just don't need to. This gives you that illusion of a cherry cordial. Oh gosh, that's absolutely delicious. This whiskey, though, is put together so well. It gives you a very pronounced cherry and vanilla note that I didn't feel I needed to really accentuate that, except for because I added the cocoa bitters, I put just a little bit of cherry bitters. I probably didn't need to be honest with you, but I added just a little bit of cherry, just to add the cherry. I wanted the cherry and the cocoa to be on the aromatics, which is why I added both. But for me, it's a big enough chocolate presence. But I understand some may want more. So I mean, there are options, right? But I'm all about keeping things as simple as possible. And I think that's a mistake a lot of folks make is they try to make things as complicated as possible, right? Start with the basics, and if you need more, add more. But don't think you need 100 ingredients to start with, I guess is what I'm getting at. And I approach it the same way when I cook too. I do most of the cooking at home, and that is the approach. Don't add more if you don't need to. Now, I will be honest here that this is the conclusion that I've come to in my old age. Because there was a time, in my early 30s, I guess, when I first found the Food Network and started learning this other things. I knew what I grew up with learning how to cook, but I started learning other techniques and other ingredients. And I started making things more complicated. But as you get older, you realize you don't need that. When you realize that the best dishes are the simple dishes, the most comforting dishes are the simple dishes. And the same goes for cocktails. You don't need 100 ingredients to make a great cocktail. The best cocktails, the classic cocktails, are 4 or 5 ingredients max. So you don't, in my opinion, you don't need to exceed that. Oh, man. That is nice. This is the perfect fireplace cordial, You finish with dinner, you even finish with dessert. Now you're relaxing. All the company's gone home. You and your wife are in your comfy chairs. You got the fire going, and then you make each of you this cocktail so you can relax, kick your feet up, and not care about a damn thing anymore that evening. And that's what a cocktail like this is for. Just to relax and enjoy. I'm glad I picked this one up because I almost didn't. I actually found this one at the Jungle Gyms in Cincinnati as we were starting to head home, and I almost didn't because I rarely buy flavored whiskeys, but because I really wanted to hit the St. Elmo restaurant, but we just didn't have to. We weren't really doing the fancy thing. That's a little upscale for us. But I saw the whiskey. I thought, let's give that a shot, and I really have enjoyed it. Like I said, I don't buy many flavored whiskeys, but I feel like they've done this one justice. Oh, I like to do my cocktail videos on Tuesday because I'm typically off Wednesday. So I like to do the bulk of my drinking on Tuesday because I can sleep in on Wednesday because I got to go back to work on Thursday. So I don't want to do a lot of drinking on Wednesday, you see. So I've been spacing it out through the day, but yeah, I think from we're getting close, right? So from now until we get to the big day, I really want to explore as many holiday/winter themed cocktails as possible. I might do some riffs on some classics. I might try to make up a few things. It all depends on your point of view. I mean, I don't know if anybody's done this particular cocktail before. I mean, it seems rather simple, so I don't know why somebody wouldn't have. But as far as I know, it is my original. So I will send it to the folks at St. Elmo, and they're welcome to it. They don't owe me a thing, but if they like to buy me dinner, that'd be nice. I'm just kidding. I just throw it out there, man. I'm like the Grateful Dead of beer and whiskey and cocktail guys. I'm doing it all for free. For screw it, steal whatever you want to steal. I feel like people have been stealing my best material for years, so why stop now? I'm just kidding. Uh, I've always felt like I was born in the wrong time. I don't know. There are things about this timeline I really enjoy, but then my soul is kind of aching for, I would have loved when cocktails like this were the commonplace. Speakeasies. I would have loved to live through the '60s and be part of that revolution. Uh, but maybe a past soul of mine did. Yeah, never know. Anyways, I digress. Sometimes cocktails make me philosophical. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to wrap this cocktail up. I'm going to grab cocktail number two. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. Hang tight. I'll be right back. Bear with me. I forgot to. I'll be right back. All right, so this particular cocktail, admittedly, is going to feel more like Thanksgiving than Christmas, which is why I kind of went with winter themed as well as holiday. Vanessa, how are you? Thanks, I appreciate that. Let me post your comments. So here's what I got with this one. Yeah, I've done versions of this before, but I just like it. I used the Watershed Distillery, 90 proof, 4-year old, straight bourbon whiskey finished in apple brandy barrels. Let me show you that bottle. And then, so it uses 1 ounce of that, 1 ounce of Laird straight apple brandy bottled and bond at 100 proof. Yeah, I cannot disagree. In this case, I'm using ginger to get there, but I understand where you're coming from. So yeah, I used the Watershed, the Laird's, and so I did a ginger spiced simple syrup. So I've got 1 ounce of the simple syrup, a couple dashes of ginger bitters. I've got a dark cherry and candied ginger garnish. I'm gonna post your comment there. Ever had pear brandy where the pear is grown in the bottle? No, I have not actually. Oh gosh, that's just delicious. I think this is for me anyway. I love this cocktail for the winter. Maybe it does feel a tad more like Thanksgiving than Christmas, but I think it still can translate. I do love the ginger bitters. I use them a lot. But I use this candy, not this particular piece, but the candy ginger to make a ginger simple. So I use the Watershed brandy, apple brandy finished whiskey, the Laird's apple brandy, and then the ginger bitters. And man, this is just delicious. And nice, comforting. I eat the pear once the brandy gets. I'll have to look for it. I'm not familiar with it, but I will look. I'll post your comment there. Oh man, that is just nice. I am a fan of Laird's. Laird's. I have the bottled and bond. I've had other products from them that I really enjoy. The bottled and bond is just a classic. They are out of New Jersey. I would love to do a show focusing just on their products because they are just amazing and they are rather versatile. Hey, drink it neat. There's nothing wrong with drinking this product neat. It is incredible. It is great. Straight up, chilled and in a glass. but it just works so amazing for cocktails. Yeah, let me show you the bottle again. Yeah, I found the ginger bitters. Where did I find those ginger bitters? I found the ginger bitters in St. Louis when we were on our way home from our vacation at the Total Wine and Spirits, I believe it was. Anytime I see a bitter I haven't had before, I pick it up. I figure I'm gonna just buy it and I'll figure out how to make a cocktail with it later. But I knew I would use these ginger bitters, and in my bar cart right now, I'm looking at black walnut bitters, mint bitters, peach bitters, orange, traditional aromatic, cranberry, toasted almond, rhubarb, and grapefruit is what I currently have. And then we've already mentioned the cherry, the cocoa, and the ginger. So that's a pretty good amount of bitters, I guess. I use a lot of the black walnut bitters through this time of year, so I might have to do another video using them. So I love to do well, I'd say maple old fashioned, but it's somewhere between a maple old fashioned and a maple Manhattan, I guess, depending on your point of view, right? Let me post your comment, Vanessa. Yeah, so I don't have one here in Springfield, but we hit the store. It was the last liquor store we hit before we were starting to head home, and they happened to have those ginger bitters. And wow, man, I really like them. I've been using them in a lot of cocktails. They are just nice, very aromatic, just a little bit of that spice. Ah, it's just incredible. So here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. So I picked up two bottles from two different folks, almost like I guess companies, but they're small local to Ohio. I picked up two barrel aged maple syrups while I was up there. And I also picked up from Watershed Distilling their barrel finished Nocino, which is a black walnut liqueur. So I've been doing kind of a thing where I use the bourbon, use this Watershed, all finishing, and I'm almost out, so I don't know if I'll do one tonight because I'm getting low, man. I use this, and the maple syrup, and oh wow, garnished with a cinnamon stick. And the black walnut bitters, I forgot to mention. Yeah, I use those black walnut bitters for sure. I don't have a pecan smoke bourbon, but I've got two different bourbon barrel aged maples, and man, they're both amazing, and they're a little bit different too. I probably use them primarily for cocktails, but I have put them on my pancakes and waffles. I just use them sparingly. They you don't need a lot, but yeah, they are good, man. So cocktail number two. Oh man, it's nice. I love those ginger bitters. I got to tell you, I also love the candy ginger because the longer I sit this in here, the sugar on that candy ginger will dissolve a little bit, but so will the candy ginger itself. So it imparts more ginger notes the longer it takes me to drink this. So it's very, very nice. Anyways, I digress. That is a very nice cocktail. It is not too late. I may come back later. I may not. It's really hard to tell. Hate to make promises I can't keep, but like I said, Tuesday is really the day I need to drink, and it sometimes doesn't turn out that way. I need to just drink on Tuesday, not drink on Wednesday because I got to go back to work on Thursday. I don't bounce back as well as I once did, so I need that time to relax. But I don't like to just power drink. Right? I'm going to drink this. I'm going to relax for a little while. I want to take it easy and enjoy the cocktails. Oh man, that was nice. That apple brandy, that the watershed finished in apple brandy, and then adding the Lairds, man, just takes this cocktail to a whole other level. So there you go. So we'll see what I've got next. Looking at what I have on my bar cart, I have some options, but I keep trying to come up with different, holiday or winter theme, something that makes sense for this time of year. And I got a couple ideas. Like I said, I've looked at those black walnut bitters, but I also have toasted almond bitters that I'm thinking about as we speak. I'm gonna post your comment here, Vanessa. So I once found some bourbon barrel aged wine that was tasty, but somehow I can't seem to find them lately. Yeah, I've had a few over the years. I really enjoy them. Although most of the wine snobs that I've talked to aren't really a fan because they say they're only using the bourbon barrel to hide flaws, which I can't necessarily disagree with, but I will tell you I like the flavors it imparts, right? So yeah, wine snobs, what are you gonna do? But as someone that's been called a beer snob, I love barrel aged beers because I don't feel like they're flawed to start with, right? Most of them, anyway. You put a nice stout or a barley wine in a barrel, it just gets better and better. I wonder if I could make an ice cream float with the barrel aged stout from Dragon's Milk. Yes, in fact, I know you can because I've done it. What you can also do, though, you can use part of that stout, just a little bit of it, not the whole bottle, but just a little bit, to do a reduction. So you do a reduction, and then you put the ice cream in what beer you have left, and then drizzle that reduction over the top. I said, "Oh my God, it's going to be gorgeous." You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. I know things. Anyway, anyway, I'm kind of an alcohol savant. Oh mercy. Anyways, I better wrap this up. I've been talking longer than I anticipated. So I am Dom, the whiskey whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Sláinte. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Vanessa, have a nice holiday if I don't hear from you again.